How's it going, everyone? Thought I would do a little update video here and a short little species profile. I got a few new recent acquisitions. I got a Brassivola cordata or subulifolia recently. That one should be blooming here shortly. Got that from the local nursery. I also got some new mastivalias, including Angulata, Piviana, Deceptrix, and Bicolor. Unfortunately, when I had ordered those, the weather was looking great, and then we had the polar vortex come in, and the Deceptrix may or may not survive. It dropped all of its leaves. Its roots still look pretty good, so I am crossing my fingers and not throwing it out yet in the hopes that it will jump back into the game. Let's see, I also got a Bulbophyllum treschii and Bulbophyllum arboretum, I believe is the other one. Treschii has the one with the foot-long purple kind of squid-looking flowers, and arboretum's got the 4 to 6 inch red flowers. Just wanted the pair. I still need to get a treschii again. I got a treschii when I first started really getting back into collecting orchids, and unfortunately it was in not good shape when I got it, and it didn't make it. So need to replace that, and then I'll have the trifecta of the long squid-flowered bulbophyllums again. Yeah, I think that's really about all of the new plants I've got. I do have some Rapiculus laelia coming. Super hyped on that. Those guys are really cool. Grow high altitude in Brazil in basically scrub forest, brushland kind of environment with, growing around cactus and live in the cracks and crevices of rocks and sandy, kind of soil. Really cool little plants. And then I have a new genus coming that I've never really worked with before, which are Phragmipediums. I have Humboldtii coming, which is your quintessential long-petaled Phragmipedium. Basically, it's got 24-inch twisted petals, and then a really exaggerated dorsal sepal on it as well. Really, really cool flowers. Super excited for those guys. But anyway, so this is Bulbophyllum skeatianum, I believe is how you say it. It's skeets Bulbophyllum. So I got this guy a couple months ago. And yeah, probably 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So these guys are from Malaysia and Laos area. They're found in growing epiphytically in exposed areas on ridgetop hill forests, or on stunted trees at very high elevation. This would be obviously considered a miniature. They are incredibly tiny little bulbs. They're kind of a cluster of them. They're pretty cool though. I mean, there's not a whole lot to the plant. It's pretty basic, for a little micro mini bulbophyllum. They tend to grow these. If you read about them, the inflorescence is supposed to be kind of purple tinged, which that has a touch of that. But they're about 4 inches long, and they can have up to 10 flowers on it. As you can see, they're quite dainty, but they have very, very cool markings on the top of the sepals there. Basically, I saw this guy and I wanted it because it reminds me of Masterzianum. It's just like a miniature version of that. So yeah, these guys they grow in shade to medium bright light. Probably where they're at in the wild is very exposed, so I would assume they actually can tolerate quite a bit of light. However, the temperatures up there are probably pretty cool if they're getting full sun. Generally, the cooler you grow something, the more sun it can tolerate. Just as long as the leaves aren't getting super overheated. So yeah, I would put these guys in the cool to warm grower category. But since it grows at higher elevations, it might lean and favor the cooler conditions. I've had it in my warm tent since I got it. I'll probably move it to my cool tent at some point. I probably will actually end up mounting this guy, mostly because these little tiny mini guys, especially if they're cool growers, they do just fine mounted because you're not evaporating off as much moisture as quickly, and they don't just suck up the moisture like the bigger guys do. So you can get away with having these miniatures mounted a lot better. But since I wanted to kind of get it reestablished, it was in fair condition. Fungus gnat. When I got it, but you can see there was a little bit of damage. It hasn't really put out any new growth yet, and I suspect that the spike was in development when it was shipped to me. It seems as though it might have been a little bit damaged in there when it started to emerge. Like it happened within maybe a week or two of me getting it. It started to grow the spike, but it was kind of mangled a little bit. So I think it was kind of damaged when I got it or when it was shipped. Obviously not enough for it to matter though. So yeah, these guys, I would, also assume that if they're growing at such high elevations, they're usually probably getting less humidity as well, just because cooler temps tend to hold a little less humidity. So if I had to shoot a guess, there's really not a lot of information on these guys online, so I'm kind of shooting from the hip here, and I haven't had this long enough to really tell you a whole lot about it. But just judging from where it's at and high elevations, I would probably guess it's probably in the 50 to 70% humidity range most of the time. Just guessing from other plants in those sort of locales. So it probably also, because of that, it would probably also tolerate drying out a little bit better than some do. I basically, same sort of thing as most of my other bulbos, I let this get fairly dry before I water it again. And gave it a little shot of fertilizer today and, gave it, I think I did 35 parts per million total on it. It's just what I had around. And it's a mini, and plus at that high elevations, it's probably scraping by for any sort of nutrients that it does happen to get. So these guys supposedly bloom in the summer. Obviously, it's end of January, February now. So don't know what that's all about. But, a lot of bulbos will just bloom whenever if they're super happy. So I'll just chalk it up to it, enjoying life. Currently, it's in a small bark perlite charcoal and sphagnum mix. Yeah, pretty simple little guy. But if you want a little tiny miniature with really pretty little flowers on it, this would be a good one to check out. Try to get you a little bit closer on these guys. Anyway, have a good night. We'll talk to you guys soon.